All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me get my camera adjusted here. So, how are you keeping today? A lot's been going on. I've noticed on some of my stats on my channel that the emergency meltdown video has been getting more views. So, that tells me a lot about what's going on right now for many of us. So I thought today we would do um, the equivalent of an emergency meltdown live stream. Okay. Before we get to that, I just want to cover just a few brief logistics. Um, we'll have another live stream a week from today on Tuesday. And I've been posting an average of 2 videos a week. I'd hoped for 3, but I've been posting an average of 2 videos a week, which includes the live stream. So the live stream is ends up being kind of a live stream for the week, really. So thank you for joining here. And I always pop on these live streams right before my sessions for the day. And it's a joy to be with you today. Okay. So let's join together, and whatever's weighing heavily on your heart right now, I want you to know that the state of our world, in many ways, it can be expected to be this way. When we go out, when humans go out, when they're driven by a sense of lack and a sense of separateness, when they go out with their energy for fulfillment, when they seek outer validation constantly, will gobble up the world's resources and will say things we don't mean to each other. We see the planet as a commodity. We see other people as a commodity. And this cycle that we're going through right now is heightened. So this outer emphasis, driven by a sense of lack, driven by a sense of separateness, in many ways, it's a predictable behavior. I remember one of my first therapists, this was CBT. I had gone back to visit family, and I had been back a few times. And I came back from one of the visits distraught. And at the end of the session, my therapist looked at me and said, "Well, why do you go back and expect different behavior? Why do you go back and expect something else, something different?" And that struck me so deeply. Like I was stunned. It was this moment of being stunned. And I was reflecting over the weekend how we can apply that to some of the behaviors we're seeing in our world. With this outer focus driven by a sense of lack, driven by a sense of separateness, of individuality, why would we expect any different behavior? Isolation, us versus them, right versus wrong. And when we, in other words, those of us who are on the journey of transformation and have explored the outer auspices of the outer energy going out, 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 and we have turned around to explore the inner world, right? Why would we expect anything different? And we know that in this inner exploration, there's this return home. And there's safety here, and there's a haven here. And if we, those who've taken the inner journey, can see the outer world in this predictable behavior, then we're in a better position to be able to navigate the many factors in our world. Because we've taken an inner journey, and we have centered inside. And many of us are doing this. We want to remember that many of us are doing this, taking this journey and centering more and more within. And that's the foundation, the foundational underpinning of so many traditions across the world. The external factors, the many, many external factors in the world leave us, there are no corners to hide in. They're constantly asking us to come within, not from a place of isolation, but from a place of openness. And in that openness, the outer world can then potentially teach us about unconditional compassion. Clear, unconditional compassion. Okay, so I'm going to share one more story. The other day I was at the market, and there was a person in front of me, and right away I noticed the back of the shirt because it had an archangel on the back of the shirt. It was a very big image. So that drew my attention. And then I noticed the archangel had a weapon, like a gun, in the image in the archangel's hands. The text said, God gave his archangels weapons because he knew love and understanding doesn't work. And this was so shocking to me that this person was in front of me. I had never seen all the visuals and all the words. It's like I couldn't take it in. It wasn't computing. It was going on so fast that it wasn't computing. And I remember going through a range of emotions. It was anger, actually disbelief first, like, what? And then anger. And then the feeling of the audacity of this and the ignorance of this. Like I went through a range of emotions so quickly. And then I paused and I realized, now, wait a minute. I'm going to have maybe 90 seconds with this person. So I decided to go into it. I went up toward him, very near him, and I got out of my way as much as I could. I cleared out of the audacity and the anger and the disbelief as much as I could. I became a clear vessel as I could. And I just stood there, beaming consciousness, presence, as much as I could, full on mode, like a channel. And I remember I was shaking from the inside out, praying that this person at some point awakens, that little seed of awakening that's in each of us. I was praying, please just allow this person to awaken, not through me, but through the force, the presence of authentic self-consciousness, whatever you want to call it, God, love. May this person awaken. And as I was walking out, he walked out in front of me, of course, checked out. And as I was walking out, I paused And I could see how he was also my teacher, because in that moment I offered unconditional compassion. I was so stunned in the moment of the anger and the fury and the disbelief. And then I switched that into unconditional compassion, which includes clarity, by the way. And in that way, this person became my teacher. I'm going to clear out in the moment, despite the anger, the disbelief. I'm going to clear out as much as I can, right? So right now, with the state of the world, compassion, our compassion is asked to grow without wilting, without us wilting, without us taking a step back. Our compassion for ourself, first and foremost, is asked to blossom, to grow. Our clarity is asked to grow. And we're asked to draw from the reserves, the endless reserves of the inner wisdom. The endless reserves from the inner wisdom. So, again, the outer flow of energy, the outer, you know what that feels like, right? We know what that feels like, the outer, when the mind gets very scattered and goes out, and the tyranny of the mind seems endless. The inner journey is where sanity lives, where your well-being resides, and where we collectively together create a healthy world. So if you've been having a tough time lately, as many of us have been, take a moment right now to de-escalate from the mind, to not feed the outer wanderings of the mind, and take a moment to come right back here. In the Christian tradition, that's the story of the prodigal son, right? In the Christian tradition. And there's endless reserves here. Going out into the separate self is absolutely exhausting. And many of you may have been feeling that recently, the exhaustion of the going out. It's endless. Holding up, propping up the separate self is exhausting. Come right back here. And we're doing this together. And this is where sanity lives. And in that sanity, there's union, connection, inclusivity. Take a breath here and lengthen your exhale. And again, let the eyes be soft. Let the gaze be soft. Let the backs of the eyes be soft. And right now, I'm going to guide you on how to go from the outer to the inner. This is so powerful to know how to move from the outer to the inner. And it's easy, and you can do it time and time again until it's second nature. So I'll guide you again from the outer energy that's so heartbreaking, And we're going to move to the inner energy, the inner flow, which is centering, connects us to inner wisdom, and guides us how to act and be and speak in a confused world. Okay? So this is I consider this one of the most precious things I can share with you, and I do it with whole heart. So I'm going to invite you to be comfortable right now, and you can either be seated or laying down. This will take just about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, okay? So be comfortable, and don't worry about being too rigid in the body. Just if you're seated, let the spine be authentically comfortable. If you're laying down, you don't need to watch anymore. You can close your eyes, and as long as you can hear, that's great. So let's close the eyes right now. And as you close the eyes, soften the back of the eyes, soften the ocular nerves. And allow the backs of the eyes to be expansive, to be open, at ease. And soften a little bit more, soak a little bit more at the back of the eyes. And then include the back of the skull, the base of the skull. Don't worry about exactly where. Include a softening and an ease at the back of the skull, the base of the skull. No need to understand how we're doing this. No need for the mind to grasp. Just include the back of the skull and the base of the skull. And then from here, come to the back of the throat, the back of the neck. So there's ease and softness in the back of the throat. No need to force your voice anymore. And breathe. And this ease, it's like a nectar, an ease that comes from the back of the eyes, through the back, the base of the head, through the throat. And you can feel how there's this inward magnetic draw that naturally now includes the back of the heart. Don't worry exactly where, no need to understand. Feel the back area of the heart, the chest. This is the seat of wisdom, your wisdom. And settle in here. In the ancient wisdom. And allow yourself to detoxify here, to cleanse here from any of the external confusion. You'll feel how things balance and de-escalate and settle. settle in here a little bit more. This is the inner seat, the inner wisdom. It's yours, and today we own this. It's always here. It's your home. It's our home. It's humanity's home. And from this seat, we can see how many people are exploring the external, chasing after things in order to come home. We can see how humans get caught up in a lack and they seek to be fulfilled, to have resolve, and that is found by coming home. That's the inner. Dive a little deeper, soak a little bit more. This place is yours. It's always there 24/7, 365. It's the one changeless, singular changeless truth or reality. It's been with you when you were 5 and 15 and 25. And it'll be with you when you're 50 and 70 and 90 and 100. In a confused world, this is the haven. And when you know how to take the outer to inner journey, this becomes priceless. It's a liquid gold. Soften a little bit more. Rest here deeply. Rest here in community deeply. This is a priceless knowing. You can go from outer to inner this same way. Until you know it's your nature. I was going to say second nature, but it already is your nature. So now very softly open your eyes and stay on this channel. Keep your peripheral vision vast and soft. And stay on this channel. Outer focus to inner wisdom. And when things feel tough, when you feel like you need that emergency meltdown video, go ahead and go to that video or come right here and just practice this. And you'll slowly begin to stabilize right here. It's what you've most longed for. It's come full circle. Breathe. All right. Well, I want you to know I'm proud of you. So much is asked of us in our world today, and I'm proud of you. The journey of trauma and healing can be a journey of fire for some of us. It leaves us no corners to hide in until we know from outer to inner. It's the push, the fire that pushes us outer to inner. So happy to be with you today. Again, I consider this sharing a priceless sharing. No words, no money can adequately express the fullness that lives within, the clarity. All right, well, I'm going to get on with my day here. I have a full day of sessions. Sending so much love to you. I'm hoping this was helpful for you today, especially if you've been going through a tough time. And again, come back to this video time and time again until it becomes just second nature. It gets easier. It gets easier, outer to inner. Okay, my heart's happy to be with you. And I'll see you here a week from today. If you have any suggestions for topics or comments you'd like to share, please let me know. You can go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll read over there in the chat. Oh, and I'll get to see your messages in a little bit. And I'll see you next week at this time. Bye, dear ones. Bye.